movie lovers? This is BLACKTREE on TV, and I'm your host, Alex Hudgens. We are your #1 source for urban entertainment. Today, before we start the show, we want to take a moment to honor Dr. Maya Angelou. She passed away recently at the age of 86, but we want to take a minute to remember this phenomenal woman, amazing poet. Her words of wisdom will be remembered by everyone, and she'll be greatly missed. All right, guys, here's what we've got for you today. We talk with the stars of the hugely popular young adult movie, The Fault in Our Stars. Plus, we have a sneak peek of the James Brown biopic, Get On Up. Then, we throw it back with the stars of Get On Up, Chadwick Boseman and Octavia Spencer. And we take you behind the scenes of the new Tom Cruise sci-fi thriller, Edge of Tomorrow. Okay, y'all, the young adult craze is on. More teens are reading young adult novels than ever before, which is a good thing. Not only is reading good for the soul and the mind, but also we're getting a ton of new movies out of these books. Now, YA authors are today's new rock stars.
I believe we have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories. On the one hand, you can sugarcoat it. And nothing is too messed up that can't be fixed with a Peter Gabriel song. I like that version as much as the next girl does. It's just not the truth. This is the truth.
Hey, make some friends.
Sorry.
My bad. I'm Augustus Waters. I've been in remission for about a year and a half.
Maybe you'd like to share some of your fears with the group.
My fears? Oblivion. What's your name?
Hazel.
What's your full name?
Hazel Grace Lancaster. Why are you staring at me?
Because you're beautiful. So, what's your story?
I was diagnosed when I was 13.
Your real story.
I am quite unextraordinary.
I reject that out of hand.
You know, Gus talks about you all the time.
We're just friends.
I hope you realize you're trying to keep your distance from me in no way lessens my affection for you.
Gus, I'm a grenade. One day I'm gonna blow up, and I'm gonna obliterate everything in my wake, and I don't want to hurt you.
You don't get to choose if you get hurt in this world, but you do have a say in who hurts you. I am in love with you, Hazel Grace. And I know that love is just a shout into the void and that oblivion is inevitable. And I am in love with you. All your efforts to keep me from you are gonna fail.
We are a hot mess.
Are you angry?
So angry.
You need to break something.
You gave me a forever within the numbered days, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for our little infinity.
It's a good life, Hazel Grace. Okay?
Okay.
How fun is that to like be a part of that, where you got to interact with the fans that watch the movie and they're just like loving it, and you know they're fans of the book, now they're fans of the movie, now they're fans of you guys.
Yeah, Q&As are always fun, which is what you're referring to from last night,
Yeah,
right? Like,
the Q&A from last night.
Q&As are great because you're sort of you're interacting with people, and at the same time you learn a lot about the movie based on their reactions. So when they stand, you know, when somebody stands up and asks you a question, it forces you to sort of reflect upon something that maybe you never thought about before.
Yeah, I mean, it's just also, it's so rewarding to see that reaction, because that's the first audience of real people who've seen it, like there are press people and, you know, movie people, and I've seen it,
right?
But just all people who are diehard fans of the book too. So like, you know, I know that people who are fans of the book are going to be critical about the movie. Like if it doesn't stand up to this book that they care so much about, they're not going to be there screaming all happy. But they were there screaming really happy about everything, and that is such a reward.
Now, speaking of fans of the book, are you guys fans of the book? What do you think of the book? Give me your thoughts on the book.
I love it.
Love the book. I mean, there's no one who's writing novels like John Green is, and there's nobody who's giving or, you know, authentically displaying voices of teenagers the way that he does, and it's, yeah.
Yeah, it's like now a lot of the times in literature and in movies, there's this like crazy, there's this big divide between this is for young people and this is for old people. This is for real people, this is for teenagers. But like if John Green writes books that are for everyone, because I mean, I can't, if you told me that old people couldn't read that, I'd be like, that's too bad for them. Like, they're missing out on something very important. This is a really important story. Just so happens that the two main characters are young.
Thanks, Sean. So glad to see my girl Shailene Woodley keeping it real. Speaking of keeping it real, The Fault in Our Stars is about a young couple dealing with cancer. Things got deep as the cast shared their real-life experiences with this disease.
Have you ever had a real-life experience with anyone who's gone through dealing with cancer?
What we've talked about a lot is, given the statistic of 1 in 3 now, which was 1 in 4 only years ago, as it's shifting,
it's crazy.
We've all had an experience. We all now know someone or have walked, we've all certainly walked through grief and heartbreak.
Right.
And to have a story, you know, have the conversation be about, yeah, this is part of the human condition, so what are we gonna make of it? What are we going to make of the time we have in these precious moments, and how are we going to find beauty in the small things?
Have any of you ever had any like real life experiences with someone who's been suffering with cancer?
I think everybody kind of has, I mean, or at least known somebody.
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate disease, and it can take people very fast and unexpectedly. I remember just recently I was at a memorial service for my singing teacher from 4th grade, who was actually the person who got me into performing. And she saw my show 2 years ago, and she died over the course of a few months after being diagnosed with cancer. And it just happens, and it's so unfortunate, but it just happens.
Cancer is a devastating disease that affects a tremendous amount of people. 1 in 3 people will have cancer at some point in their lifetime. That statistic is just too high, so let's hope for continued research so that we can finally find a cure for this vicious disease. Coming up, we throw it back with the stars of the new James Brown biopic. And we'll show you the hot new trailer for Get On Up. Plus, we take you behind the scenes of the new Tom Cruise sci-fi thriller, Edge of Tomorrow. And BLACKTREE on TV hits the red carpet at the Maleficent world premiere in the UK. Next, only on BLACKTREE on TV, your #1 source for urban entertainment.
You're watching BLACKTREE on TV, only on Soul of the South.